Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what's on tonight's edition of the Klown Hour podcast. We're going to talk some NCAA final, the bludgeoning that was Baylor over Gonzaga in the title game, talk about a huge letdown from the semifinal games. That is the Final Four. We'll talk about Roy Williams' retirement from the University of North Carolina men's basketball program and the hire of Hubert Davis. It was a great move on that. We'll get into the Sam Darnold trade from the Jets to the Carolina Panthers. Crazy, but we'll get into that. We're going to discuss the harem that is Deshaun Watson. This story gets weirder and sicker by the minute. And last but not least, for doing an HBCU Sports segment, we're going to talk a lot about the SWAC, again, the Pepsi deal, as well as Deion Sanders, HK Coach Prime, taking another L. This time, his Jackson State Tigers fell to the powerhouse known as the Southern University Tigers. So until then, oh yes, I keep forgetting to tell y'all this. Please hit the subscribe button. Please keep with the comments. Enjoy your comments during my shorts and in my other videos. So please keep the comments going. And also, get the merch, cafepress.com, search for the Klown Time Sports. The address will be in the description below when this gets uploaded to YouTube. So till then, let's have fun. Let's go get it. Good morning, got a new evening, wherever you are, where you may be, and welcome to the night's April 7th edition of the Klown Hour podcast. Please check us out on YouTube. Please hit the subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. Hit the bell so you can ring that bell and get notifications and whatnot, because we're gaining subscribers, we're gaining commenters, we're getting some love. So I want y'all to be on the love train and get on that and keep the party going. As for my co-host to my left, I'm doing this here because you never know how Zoom projects itself on the big screen. That's YouTube. Check out my man Dwayne Nash on the yard, such as HBCU Sports, reps about all things HBCU Sports, as well as Sleazy Radio on every Tuesday night on Facebook Live. Check he and his crew out. It's entertaining. You learn a thing or two as well. Almost sounded like a Jamaican, a thing or two. And also check out his great work on herosports.com. Reps about all things FCS as it pertains to HBCU Sports. See the connection there? Also, as for me, check out my sports blog, The Klown Times. It's Klown spelled with K at www.theklowntimes.net. You can check us out on Facebook as well, where you're on your smartphone, desktop, laptop, wherever you are. Just do this, tap on the search window, The Klown Times there. You'll find us there being silly as well. And I already mentioned the subscribe, the subscribe button right there. Again, on the lower right-hand corner of your screen. Get the merch. Got T-shirts and hats. I'm pointing
at the merch.
And also other stuff too, handbags, all sorts of stuff. So go to cafepress.com, search for the Klown Time Sports. The address will be in the description right below here. Once it's uploaded into YouTube, you get your merch there as well. So we're going to get into some stuff here. Got the NCAA final. I was hoping that we get an epic final, especially after the way Gonzaga and UCLA ended on that buzzer beater for the ages. I watched that shit live. That's one of the few things there's few moments where I actually watched something like that live. And my wife was in another room while I'm sitting here in the jungle, and she hears me go, whoa, just louder than that. Much louder than that, because I don't want to scare people. But the point is, when Jalen Suggs hit that shot, got a running start. I was thinking to myself, because he had a running start, he leaned into it like, oh shit, it's his whole line. And he didn't call glass, but that was awesome. And of course, I guess they left it all on the court against UCLA because they got the asses blown out. They got curb stomped, bludgeoned, violent, whatever extreme adjective you want to use. That's what happened to Gonzaga against Baylor. It wasn't even close. Baylor led from start to finish. They got out quickly. And of course, they won by 16, 86-70. It felt like 26 points instead of 16. They kept Gonzaga well below the average. They averaged, because Gonzaga averages around 90. They kept them to 70. And it would have been worse than that if Baylor had hit more than shots. Believe it or not, that's the only complaint I have. But I mean, let's check out the stats here, bro. I mean, Baylor could have missed from three. There was 43.5% from three. Okay. And even though they start three guards who could take anyone off the dribble when they want to, they out-rebound a much bigger Gonzaga team 38-22. And it really killed them on the offensive glass. And if you remember all those damn high screen and rolls that took like the bigs like Timmy and company out of the paint, you end up using like the big guys, Gonzaga's big guys, on like guys like Suggs and the backcourt mates. So all in all, they were outcoached, outmanned, outplayed, outclassed, and there's no shame in that. Gonzaga still is a great team, 31-1, but damn, how to have your only loss, not only a championship game, but you getting your ass kicked.
Yeah.
By a team that we thought was the best two teams all season. So at least we got that. It just sucks that it had to end that way and an ass whipping. But at any rate, so just give me your 2 cents real quick, and we'll talk a little bit more about this. So in your mind, the Baylor Bears, was it pretty much out coaching, or the fact that Baylor just better than they are? Better than
you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and be real with you, Scott.
Okay.
I don't know how focused I was watching this game because it was such a blowout.
Yeah. I get it.
From pillar to post, but they were out bullied in this game.
Yes, they were.
To your point in terms of, and it's interesting, all of the points that you brought up were all of the things that were takeaways from me during this game, right? We talked about how good Baylor shot from behind the arc. Look at how poorly Gonzaga shot behind the arc. That was the first time this tournament they shot under 33%.
Yeah, man.
First time. Also, they were out rebound. That's the second time during the tournament they were out rebound. Can you tell me when the first time was?
I don't remember when the first time was. You can help me out.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of easy. It was against UCLA. Oddly enough, when they were out rebound, the games were close.
Wow.
Or it was close in terms of their opponent, or the other team won greatly, right? Or I should say their opponents could have won or did win in those games when they were out rebounded. Gotcha. They were actually out rebounded 32-26. This time, that number, that deficit was greater, and you could tell because it gave, especially as you said with the offensive rebounds, it gave Baylor a lot of second-time chance buckets, which extended possessions for them. And when you do that, you take away possessions from Gonzaga. That's what you get. Right. And then a lot of times, man, they did a wonderful job of playing the pass lanes and turning over the ball for Gonzaga. And I think Baylor only had maybe 2 turnovers in the second half.
Yeah, they played almost a flawless game, dude. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So they just played a great game, and I really don't know if I can necessarily attribute that to the coaching, but yeah, they were outplayed. But I will say this: the NCAA got lucky. And, that's a handoff from COVID, because it helped them with their seeding. Right. And they were capable of almost getting chalk this year, especially as it pertains to getting the best 2 teams all season long into the final. It just happens to be that, unfortunately, they did come up short. But, as low as Gonzaga wants to hold their head, they still have to keep their chins up for the fact that they did go 31-1.
Yeah, I mean, they have nothing to be ashamed of. Nothing. I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
You get a game like you had against UCLA, and then some team who's almost as good as you are, you play against them. Sometimes you're hitting, and sometimes
you don't.
You get your ass kicked. I mean, it happens. It happens. I mean, if you look at Baylor, them individually from a physical standpoint, I said they started 3 guards earlier, but they look like football players. They have those broad shoulders. This one guy, Vital, he's listed as a guard, 6'5", 250. If they mean a guard is an offensive guard, yeah, Dude is
that's a DN.
Yes, he's brawny, but he's listed as a guard. He had 11 rebounds.
I'll say this. I mean, let's put it into perspective.
Yeah.
Because I think Julius Peppers is like 6'6", 6'7", 240.
6'7".
When he played at UNC.
Yep.
He's 2 inches shorter.
Yeah.
So basically, you got Julius Peppers playing guard for you. That's insane.
Yeah. And the kid can play. They use him more to help out the rebound again because Baylor's a small team as far as height wise. Mm-hmm. But I mean, the way Scott Drew coached, and I'll get to him in like momentarily, but the way he out-schemed, the way he had the scheme set up, where again he started 3 guards, even though, even though Vito was a guard, he came off the bench, but he was used as a rebounder. He's so big, he's 250. Yeah. He's not fat, he's just strong.
He's muscular
and brawny, so he's able to push around those cats like what's his name? I think Drew Timme for Gonzaga with the porn mustache, handlebar mustache, who was balling out. That kid, he's only a sophomore. I didn't know he's only a sophomore, but anyway, he was bullying him around. And Timme is a center. And you had a 6'5" guy, again 250, strong, athletic, bullying him and bullying the other cats on Gonzaga's front line. I mean, the way, and I'll get to it right now, Scott Drew, I mean, give him credit. I think that's his name. I know he's Larry Drew's son, part of the Drew family of coaching.
Okay.
One of them played for Larry Drew when they were both at Valparaiso.
Okay.
So anyway, the point is that he took that program, Baylor, which was coming off of a murder rap, where some of the teammates killed each other, literally. And he turned that into a winner that you see now. You could see it the years past, the progression. People were like wondering, Coach Drew, are you out of your damn mind taking that job? He was like, I think he told his dad even that you can't go anywhere else but up.
Exactly.
So that's the best kind of job, really, if you think about it. But the point is that, hell, even last year, we had the tournament last year, even though you had great teams on Florida State and everybody else, if Dayton would have been a 1 seed as well. They being Baylor, the Baylor Bears had a great chance of doing the damn thing in the tournament last year because they essentially returned the same team this year. So, and I know they were COVID ravaged for a while. They didn't play a game in 2 weeks. I think one point in the season, they came back, got dusted by Kansas. And this was the Kansas' best year. Then they got beat by Oklahoma State in the conference tournament. But by Kay Cunningham and company. But they just took their own tournament, man. They remember that, hey, we're Baylor. And they give us a top, one of them will see for a reason. And they wreck shop. So props to Drew, Coach Drew, for the job that he's done there. A lot of those kids are sophomores and juniors. So I think Davion Mitchell's declared for the draft right now.
Oh, okay.
One of the guards. Maceo T, let me check his name right quick. He's a Cincinnati kid. Where is it? Maceo Teague, what's his name? Walnut Hills High School's finest, by the way. If you're from Cincinnati, you'll get the Walnut Hills connection. My wife's a fellow Walnut Hills grad. It's almost like a cult here. But anyway, that's another story for another time. But he's a senior. So he's going to be on into bigger and better things. But most other than that, like Baylor returns to most of the team next year. And it's going to be fun to watch. And I would say this, going back to Gonzaga, hint them not having to hang their heads. Timme, Timme, I call him Timme guy, he'll be back. Even though they would talk about him before the championship game of maybe Tessa Wells for the draft, he got exposed. He's very crafty, he's very smart, but he's not that athletic. So I think he needs some more work, get some more work with that. Get maybe a little bit stronger. He has a great outside shot. He needs to be more consistent about it. I think Jalen Suggs is gone. he made probably the few one and doneers that Gonzaga's ever had under Mark Few. But I think outside of that, I mean, most of the squad, I think, will be back. He keeps recruiting well anyway because, again, Gonzaga, they may be in the mid-major conference, but they're a power league team. They're a power
Almost
team.
definitely.
They're a power program. So
yeah.
Mark Few Company will be back, and they're favored to make the title game again next year. So in case people are wondering.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. They should be able to dominate their conference again. The thing is depending upon what their OOC looks like, their out-of-conference matchups look like, how much of a test will they get throughout the regular season, and how will that affect them going through the tournament. As it pertains to Baylor, though, I don't know if they'll necessarily repeat. They still have to go through the Big 12 again.
Right.
And the Big 12, I'm expecting it to get better.
Yeah,
especially with teams, like Kansas. A lot of these teams that were young teams that didn't necessarily get a chance to play with one another, this time around, they should. If everybody gets their shot and everybody calm down, God, maybe they'll go ahead and get more practice time and play a couple of more OOCs and learn how to play with one another. Excuse me, they should get better. And teams, like I said, with Kansas, Oklahoma State, who beat them in their conference tournament, Oklahoma, Texas, they'll have some opponents within their own conference that they will have to go through before they even have to worry about going through the NCAA again. Yeah.
So there you go. I would say this for Mark Few. I'm a big fan of his. And I look at this team and the one that he had against the Tar Heels a few years ago when they lost in the final. This was probably his best team. And this was probably his best team, his best chance of winning it. And which makes me a little bit worried in the sense that will Mark Few ever go over the hump? Because he's been there. It's like a progression. It was like the Sweet 16 first, right? When he put Gonzaga on the map. It was always that the bracket buster who gets to at least the Sweet 16. Then progressed to the Elite Eight. And then eventually broke through to the Final Four when was the year they faced up against Carolina championship game, or was a little bit before that? But then speaking of Carolina, they made the title game against Roy Williams. Tar Heels. We'll get to Roy Williams in a minute. But then they just came just short against Carolina. They could have won. They probably should have won that. To be honest with you. But they came up short. And now he brought back an undefeated squad, good mix of freshmen and sophomores and juniors and seniors on the team. We mentioned Jalen Suggs earlier, who's probably going to go into the draft. To have it end like this. Again, Baylor's a great team. But to have it and to see Mark Few go out like that, it makes you wonder, will he have a breakthrough? Because again, I'm a fan of his. And he's been rejected overtures of bigger programs for 10, 15 plus years. And because he wants to see this thing through. I want him to get a chip so bad. He's one of the good guys in coaching, as far as I know. Would he ever go over the hump, man? I'm just worried with this being his best team he's had, probably ever. Would he ever get over the hump?
It's all about how he handles adversity, right?
Yeah.
And we've seen that he's been handling it well because he always ends up taking the next step whenever he's been held back. Right. Now, to your point, will he be able to move on with this potentially being his best team? I'm gonna go ahead and say yes, because we've seen other coaches go through this before in the past, and they end up winning titles. Ironically enough, the guy we just talked about before the show started, Gary Williams out of Maryland, is one of those guys. Another one of those coaches, another ACC guy. Correct me if I'm wrong. His last name is Bennett, the head guy over at Virginia, right?
Yes, Tony Bennett.
Another guy that's gone through adversity before winning a national title. Yes. Man. Oh, yes. So, there are a lot of guys that have had things come up, and some of their better teams end up coming short, only to eventually end up winning a national title. It's just making sure that, he learns from this and comes out better at the end of this.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, again, I'm pulling for him. Most people pulling for him in college, in sports, period. But, it's It's crazy, but again, Gonzaga, you have nothing to be ashamed of, fans. You have nothing to be ashamed of. You just played a better team in Baylor. You'll be back next year. Y'all not going anywhere. As long as you have Mark Few in the fold, y'all straight.
Mm-hmm.
This is a matter of breaking through. And when y'all break through, and I think you eventually will with Mark Few, I think it's just a matter of time. Then you guys, it'll just all be forgotten. It helps me it'll help you just like it did with Tony Bennett and Virginia. It helps you appreciate the journey that much more.
It'll be a teachable moment. Yeah.
Trust me on that. So anyway, speaking of college basketball, I mentioned his name earlier, Roy Williams. He retired. Well, he coached damn near 30 years at Carolina.
33, if memory serves me, yeah.
Damn. So that's 99, just since 98. Damn. So it's crazy. So
I know, right?
You don't realize that he's been somewhere so long.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I remember when he didn't say yes to Dean Smith the first time he was at Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
Well, after Roy Guthridge left.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Guthridge left. And then it came the forgettable backdoor of the years. And which is funny to me because I hate Carolina. But anyway, when Dean Smith came back to Roy Williams again, I couldn't see Roy Williams saying no to Dean Smith twice. And essentially, that's home for Roy Williams. He played there. He coached there under Coach Smith. Won rings under Coach Smith. Ringa, I should say. But the point is that he went home. He won three rings. He broke. Remember, he was at Kansas. We were wondering if he was going to get over the hump at Kansas.
Yeah.
Well, he got over the hump at Carolina and then some.
Yeah.
And remember, he had a game against Villanova when they lost at the last second shot.
Yeah.
So he could have had four of them.
Mm-hmm.
And he could have four underneath. But the point is that Roy Williams is a stud. He'll be missed at Carolina.
He most definitely be missed.
When he retired early this week or last week. No, it was this week.
April 1st.
That's right. Yeah, people thought it was April Fool's Day.
Yes, I did.
But it wasn't. When he came out and said, I'm done. He's like, damn. I mean, he just took all of us by surprise. You kind of figured he was going to move on. Like he and Coach K and what's the name of the coach at Syracuse, Jim Boeheim.
Jim Boeheim, yeah.
They are all on the back nine of the coaching career. They still can get it done. But, I mean, they're not young. They're not spring chickens anymore. And, so it's just – but I like the hire of Hubert Davis. I didn't expect it. I thought they were going to go out there either Jerry Stackhouse or Wes Miller, who's coaching at UNC Greensboro.
UNC Greensboro, yeah.
Yeah, who's doing a fantastic job at UNC Greensboro.
Yeah.
He's a Carolina guy, obviously. He played at Carolina. But the thing is that you couldn't go wrong either way.
No.
Wes Miller would have done a good job because, again, he's doing the damn thing at UNC Greensboro with less resources. Stackhouse, he's got off to a rough start at Vanderbilt, but you can't really. They got Scottie Pippen Jr. there. They had Kenyon Martin's boy there before he decided to go in the G League and go in the draft. And he's doing quite well for himself. He's doing pretty good for himself as a rookie. But generally speaking, it's hard to get kids there because you got to be smart.
Yes. And
not to say athletes can't be smart, not to say still typically black athletes can't be smart. But the point is, it's just hard to get in. It's like Georgia Tech. It's hard to get into that school. Boston College, Notre Dame, Stanford, Northwestern, need I go on? So it is what it is. Wake Forest,
not just that.
Wake Forest in there.
Not just that, it's a basketball drudge.
Yeah.
Has been.
Yeah, it has been for quite a while.
Can you tell me the last time Vanderbilt was good?
Gene.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say Kevin Stallings, when he was there, but it fell off while he was there. At the last year's reason why he's left. But the point is that Stackhouse has coaching experience on the pro level. He coached the G League team for a while. I think Dallas was the G League team for a while. And he has a name. Yeah. So that he could get recruits to come to Carolina. Could you imagine him in Carolina?
Yeah.
But either way, yeah. So as much as I'd like Stackhouse better, and I would have been okay with Wes Miller if I was a Carolina fan. I think Hubert Davis is a good hire.
Yeah.
He served under Roy Williams. He's paid his dues, paid 12 years in the NBA. He's tried with the second highest 3-point shooting percentage at 44%. People don't know that. So he knows how to get cast through the league, is what I'm trying to say. Did it for 12 years, played with the Knicks, had good years, great years with the Knicks, with my Knicks. By the way, Scottie Pippen did foul him. I don't care what anybody says. They fouled him. If guys don't get the reference, YouTube, Scottie Pippen, Hubert Davis, you'll thank me later, except if you're a Bulls fan. But yeah, I think that Hubert Davis has been doing most of the recruiting. So they'll get the recruiting going. Okay. They kept a lot of the 5-star blue chip recruits this past year. They're going to be freshmen this year. They kept them with the announcement. I like the fact that he's going to be the first brother coach to lead that program. So that's huge. So UNC is putting the money where the mouth is. Yeah. Where his mouth is. I like that. But yeah, so I like the hire. And I think that because UNC basketball is at a crossroads. They had kind of lean years, but I think COVID has a lot to do with that too, to be honest with you, because they had no crowd noise. They had no crowd. Now, if you take Duke and Carolina and all those teams and put them with crowd noise, I guarantee you they'd be a lot better.
It's a whole different situation. Exactly. But you know what? It's one of those things, and I've been harping on it all season long. Yeah. They were another young team.
Right.
They were another young team.
They sure were.
So to kind of piggyback off of what you said, the biggest thing for me, of course, is the fact that it was an in-house hire, which meant that, in my opinion, that they're keeping all of the recruits who are already there and those who were thinking about coming, or those that are already committed.
They're recruiting in mind, exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So because it's not going to be a coach that's new to the system,
right?
And someone else they're going to have to get acclimated to. So that's a huge benefit. The only, because like you said, with Wes Miller out of UNC Greensboro and Stackhouse, the only other person that I thought of, but I thought it was a super Stretch Armstrong plastic man, Mr. Fantastic Stretch, is my man George Lynch, who has a little bit of coaching experience as well. Yeah. He coached 2 years now at Clark Atlanta down in Atlanta, but
I know that.
Once again, yeah. Okay. Unfortunately, not a lot of resources down at that program, and he wasn't able to turn it around. Right. So, his stint there was short, but he does have a couple of years experience. Hopefully he can get someplace else and get on someone else's staff and build that up a little bit more. But they made the right hire. They most definitely made the right hire.
They interviewed George Lynch on his thoughts on the Hubert Davis hire. They played, I think Hubert Davis is a little bit older than George Lynch. George Lynch is around our age.
Yeah.
Hubert Davis is a few years older than we are. So, at least, speaking of landing on someone else's staff, maybe that's where George Lynch is headed.
Hopefully.
Maybe, because that would be great, because, again, he's probably going to keep, I think Hubert Davis is probably keep a lot of the current staff, because he learned underneath those guys as well. Like the brother who used to coach at Maryland, I forget his name. He was on Roy Williams' staff he's been there for a while, too. I forget his name, but anyway, it'll come. Wade. His last name is Wade.
Okay.
Anyway, the point is that I think that while he will keep, Davis will keep most of his staff, I think he's going to get more of his guys on the staff as well, and I think George is going to be one of those guys. So we'll see, but I think the hire is great. And I heard this is when you hear other analysts who just talk just to be talking, when they should just learn more from the situation, just shut the fuck up at the same time. Some guy, I forget who it was, I think from ESPN, lambasted the move of hiring Hubert Davis, saying that they should have expanded it out like nationwide search, because Carolina is, and then he's telling the truth here. They said that Carolina is if not the best coaching job in basketball. They got the resources, they got the facilities. I don't know if you've been to campus on there, D, while you were in North Carolina, But
yeah, I went before actually a Carolina A&T game. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you've seen the facilities, probably. You've seen how great the facilities are. I mean, it's probably even better now. So they got money to burn for Carolina from the basketball program and the shows. So they're not lacking.
No.
But I would just say I may have been calling Cowherd for all I care. But anyway, the point is that sounds like something that Cowherd would say. But talking about they thought too small and they want to keep it in the family. Well, sometimes you got to keep it in the family. That's like that. You know what that's like? That's like Carolina going out there and hiring. Oh, I don't know. What's the hottest name right now? Like bringing on like Bob Huggins. No disrespect to Bob Huggins. He's a great guy, great coach.
Yeah.
Bill Self. All these other guys, Calipari, all these other guys, but it's the Carolina, that UNC basketball is a culture.
It is.
You got to understand the culture by keeping it in the family. You got to keep it in the family. That's one of those jobs. It's fabled. Duke is probably going to be like that. You keep it in the family when Coach K is gone. You got to keep it in the family. Probably Syracuse when Coach Boeheim walks away. It's a culture, but nothing like Carolina. It's really culture. The basketball.
That's what Georgetown's been doing. Yeah.
Thank you. That's Georgetown's the culture. I mean, gotta keep it in the family because they understand. They understand the culture. They don't know what they have to do, how to recruit, how to nurture the program, keep the program on the up and up. So
also to appease their fan base.
Yes, which is the important thing because as basketball craze as both UNC and Georgetown and Duke are, if you make it a hire that loses the fans and the boosters, you're done for. See Pitt basketball before they brought in Jeff Capel. So, I mean, that Kevin Sterling is hire sent Pitt basketball back to the dark ages, but that's starting to get out of it now under Capel's leadership. That's going to be a huge rebuild. So if you're Carolina, you're looking at that. I said, okay, look, and plus that's the Matt Doherty years too. Matt Doherty came from Notre Dame.
And that's the thing that I always find interesting when people say that they probably missed the mark by not hiring someone that's more of a name. But you're hiring someone that's more of a name that, like you said, to your point, is not from that Carolina culture.
Right.
And
that's huge.
Yes, and the worst thing that would happen is if you bring in someone who is not Carolina blue and they start losing. You can only imagine.
It's a wrap because there's no benefit of the doubt.
None whatsoever. And that's exactly what would be the comments about that hire will be is that, oh my God, not only are we losing, we're losing with a Bama that ain't even from here.
Yeah. So again, I know Matt Dorsey is Carolina guy. He did play for Coach Smith. He played with Michael Jordan. But if you, it's all about continuity as well. I mean, as much as I love the Jerry Stackhouse hire, I mean, you gotta wonder. You gotta be careful of the Matt Doherty situation too. So anyway, the point being is that it's a good hire, and we'll see what happens. And hopefully they'll support the brother. And I think Hubert Davis is going to do great things in Carolina.
Shout out to Hubert Davis, who's from this area.
That's correct.
Who grew up in this area. Yeah,
that's correct. He's one of your homeboys. He's from the crib.
Yeah.
So there you go. We're going to make a transition to football. Sam Darnold. So they finally freed Sam Darnold. They finally smiled upon him. The football coach smiled upon him. And coerced the Jets to trade him to the Carolina Panthers on Monday, I think it was. Like basically for a 6th rounder in this year's draft. It was Monday. And a 2nd rounder and a 4th rounder in next year's draft. So I'll say this, man. Even though the Jets were able to get something for Donald, even though everyone in their mama knew that once San Fran traded up to the third pick, they couldn't get past this Jets 2nd pick. That people figured the Jets were going to take a quarterback. Or else you're staying in the 2 slot. But I would say the winner of this trade was Sam Darnold himself. He got the hell out of New York. I mean, got the hell out of Dodge. And, He gets the first start on the team with better weapons, better coach team, and which means that, you remember they always say that grass is not always green on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
It's all on Darnold right now. It's all on him. He has no excuses. He's on a better squad, better run organization with more weapons, better weapons, I should say. And if Darnold wets the bed, he has no one to blame but himself. But give me your thoughts on the trade and who you think the winners are, if there is a winner of the trade, and how Sam Darnold will go from here.
Well, I thought it was hilarious how there were reports that he threw a party that he got traded after he got traded.
Yes. I saw the party.
That was funny.
I saw it on was it Instagram or Twitter? But
so you actually saw the party?
Yes, he came in. They had blue and black balloons in there. He came in and would dance like this.
That's hilarious.
He was happy to get out of Dodge.
That speaks volumes on that organization.
Yeah.
That you lambasted last week.
Yeah.
Still hilarious in my eyes.
Yeah.
God, the one thing the Panthers are going to have to do, I mean, yes, they have better weapons, especially at the running back position. We already know that off the rip.
Mm-hmm.
But they are going to have to go ahead and replenish the wide receiver spot because they did lose Curtis Samuel to Washington.
Right.
Thank you.
That's a great signing, by the way, for your guys.
I hope it pans out. Now, like you said, of course, it's up to him to take advantage of the situation because he's getting a fresh start. But there is discussion that the Carolina Panthers still may take a QB at 8 if one that they like falls to them.
Yeah.
With that said,
I got thoughts on that, but go ahead. Yeah.
With that said,
yeah.
Who do I think the winner is? I am in complete agreement with you. Well, excuse me, we really don't know who the winner is in this situation yet, right?
Right.
Because we don't know who the Jets will end up drafting to take his place and how that's going to work out.
Right.
We don't know exactly how the Sam Darnold situation is going to pan out in Carolina, whether or not he will play well or not.
Right.
And if he'll actually use this as a way to better himself, even if they draft another guy.
So many unknowns. So many unknowns right now.
It's so many unknowns at this moment that we really don't know. We won't know really until probably 2 years from now. And that's why I always say we have to give, and I've said it before in the show, we have to give situations like that, especially when a guy moves from one organization to another, a year or two to find out who the winner is.
Right.
Because it may be an instant winner, but it might not be a long time winner.
Right.
And unless that instant winner turns into a championship, then they the winner for sure.
Right.
But if it doesn't parlay itself into a championship, then you got to give it a year or two. But I'm going to be patient, see how this thing pans out, see how Carolina Panthers assist this dude out and getting some help on his side of the ball. That division gets a little bit easier now that there's no more Drew Brees, but now there's Tom Brady. So
right. That guy, with that talent.
Oh my God!
And they're bringing it back, by the way. They're running it back.
Yeah, I heard that they're bringing back all 22 starters.
Yes.
It is what it is, right?
Yep.
So
there you go.
It'll be interesting to see how that pans out for them. But yeah, it just all depends upon what Matt Rule and that coaching staff does for him while he's there.
Exactly. So
and then I guess another component to that, of course, is now Teddy Bridgewater, the guy who they gave the 2-year deal to, who is now seeking a trade. Now, actually, while the show started, I got a text that alleges that now the Denver Broncos could be the landing spot for one Teddy Bridgewater. Right. I find that to be very interesting, especially the fact that they actually have a young QB out there now in Drew Lock that I thought they were developing, but
they're down on them.
They have to be.
They're down.
If they're looking for another QB.
Yeah.
But you know what? I say this is all on John Elway.
Yes, it is.
And regardless of how bad I talked about the dude on this show for years, I'm gonna go ahead and say that's the curse of Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
They had an opportunity to have him. He didn't want. He also didn't want the deal that they gave him. So it's not necessarily all of that. But they could have, if they really wanted him They could have done what they could have done what they needed to do in order to get him in, and they chose not to.
Right.
So it was equal parts both bad on that situation, but actually more so Denver, because he felt as though he wasn't going to get what he deserved. Mm-hmm. And I understand it. I'm not mad at him for turning down that deal. If that's not what your worth is, keep it pushing.
Right.
So, I truly believe that's the curse of Colin Kaepernick, man. They haven't been right ever since they offered him, ever since that situation came up. So, hey, until they make amends, they won't.
Right. They won't. That's a nice tie. I'll say this, speaking of Denver and Carolina, they were once thought to be the possible landing spots for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Especially the Panthers. Yeah. So now they seemingly got their quarterback, at least for the time being, in Darnold. You go with Joe Brady, who the offensive coordinator, who, and keep in mind, even though they're looking to get Bridgewater looking to move on, Bridgewater had a decent year statistically.
Yeah.
He had no Christian McCaffrey for most of the season.
Yeah.
He didn't exactly stink.
No.
He came up short in the clutch, but he didn't stink.
Mm-hmm.
He stick up the joint. But the Panthers got the young QB that wanted Sam Darnold. He has talent. Darnold has talent. Mm-hmm. He's out of which mountain? That's the Jets organization, which is an anagram for just end the season. I said last week. So, so he's in a better situation. And Denver's looking to now go forward, perhaps with Teddy Bridgewater. Again, we thought that both were in the running for Deshaun Watson. And now with another couple of young women coming forward, speaking of Deshaun Watson, this is getting more sorted by the fucking minute, man. I mean, look, I want to give the young brother the benefit of the doubt, but if you have women coming forward, including this one young lady, I'm looking up her name right now, who recently got harassed by fans of Deshaun Watson on her business, which is what is a big reason why. And so people out there, especially guys, if you want to know why more women do not come forward,
that's why. This
is why, because the victim becomes the villain.
Yeah.
In cases like this. I mean, to the point where this is a livelihood. Giving massage therapy is a livelihood. Mm-hmm. So you have random people all showing up, giving her like 1 star and trashing her reviews, fucking up her algorithms on Yelp. I mean, why? Why do that? I mean, let's just pretend for a minute that it was a misunderstanding between her and Deshaun Watson. Why would you do that to a human being? Why would you fuck her life up, mess with her money like that, when she did not do a damn thing to you? Why, as fans, would you do that? That's just stupid. And this is why
you answered your own question.
Yeah, and so why?
Because they're fans.
Yes, and that's fans stand for fanatic, but it stands for damn foolish fanatics.
Yeah.
So this is why women do not come forward. I wish it wasn't that way, but it is, to borrow a phrase that we've both said and we've both heard, is what it is, which is unfortunate. But I think at this point, I think the more I hear and see this, the less I think he's going to stick around in Houston. At least the fact that he's become radioactive.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I know he still has fans. But some people say he's a good young man as far as attitude off the field, and he's very charitable. A lot of people in Houston still love him. I don't think that the Texans could keep him from in Houston or in the state of Texas even more. So not that he's ever going to go to Dallas, but the point is that even if they're going to trade him, they may not get much for him.
They're not. They're not.
Basically, you got a quarterback in his prime, a superstar quarterback in his prime, in civil legal troubles as far as the civil suits concerned. I don't think he's ever going to become a criminal case. I think he's all misdemeanors, but his reputation out of it is going to be tarnished.
Yeah.
And, but teams want to win, but they know if you have a tarnished opponent who doesn't want to be there, who's a superstar quarterback in his prime, I don't think Houston's would be like, look, wherever you got, fine. I think still this gets done before the draft because, again, not to say they'll get a first round. I don't think they're going to get a first round from him anymore. That's done. That ship has sailed. So if they don't get a second round for him, they still, whether they don't get a second round for him or not, even though they still have the first 2 picks, no picks in the first 2 rounds, they got to move him.
Yeah.
They have to move him now. So, I mean, San Fran trade up. They're going to probably draft the QB. Mm-hmm. The Jets are probably going to draft the QB. The Dolphins probably happy with Tua right now. They haven't made any moves. Unless Bill Belichick pulls the rabbit out of the hat. Watch him end up in New England. Watch end up in New England. Since damn the suspicion, since any type of upcoming suspension that Roger Goodell's going to land, because he will be suspended. It doesn't matter how many games. You will look at least 4 at this point.
Yeah.
But which Belichick will even love even more because, not love, but the part is he has Cam Newton. He has a bridge on a 1-year deal.
Mm-hmm.
Just watch Deshaun become a Patriot. You know that's going to happen. But anyway, he won't be able to stick around in Houston.
Tarnished item.
Yep.
Going to a stable organization.
Yep.
And the precedent has already been set many times, to quote Pootie Tang. We can go down the list.
Yep.
Randy Moss.
Yep. Antonio
Brown, even though that thing just blew up in their faces.
Yeah.
But it almost worked, right?
Yep. Spygate. Remember Spygate?
Yeah. So this is an organization that is at least wearing a bulletproof vest at best. Mm-hmm. It's not to say that they're completely unable to get hit, because they've been hit, but they've been able to take their hits well, and they've been also able to deflect a lot of them hits too. Mm-hmm. So, God, Scott, you might be right. You might have already spoken that into the universe. So come 2023, 2024, get ready. You know, all they need to do.
He's going to be a Patriot. He's going to be a Patriot. I just know he's going to be a damn Patriot. I just know he's going to be a Patriot.
You know, because, you know, with the QB carousel,
yeah,
a lot of these carousel seats are starting to be filled up. If they're not filled by now, they'll be filled by the draft. And if whoever does not have, or whoever has a seat open, or a questionable seat open, those could be destinations for Deshaun Watson. And one of those spots with a questionable seat, the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
Another spot with a questionable seat, believe it or not, the New Orleans Saints, because we still don't know what Jameis Winston is yet and how he's going to look in that offense. He's been there a couple of years. He knows it. He should understand it by now.
Right.
It's how he's going to perform in it. If he doesn't perform well, they're going to be looking for a replacement. I'm not saying.
Could you imagine? I'm sorry. Could you imagine?
No, go ahead.
Deshaun Watson with Sean Payton. Man, listen. Can you imagine him with Sean Payton? I didn't even think
about it from that perspective. I just looked at it from the perspective of spots that have questionable seats at best, and that's one of those spots. Another place that has a questionable seat at best, and you know this already. I don't even have to say the name, but I'm going to. The Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yep.
Questionable at best.
And they don't have to give up a first or second round pick at this point.
No. He could get cut. He could just get released.
Yep.
If no one's capable of trading for him. So there's so many, there are various scenarios that can happen and how it can go down. The next couple of weeks are going to be very interesting and very telling to the Deshaun Watson situation. And my God, for him to lose the endorsements of Nike and Beats by Dre today has been very interesting. And the fact that that number is now 22.
Yeah.
22 that are coming out against him.
Yeah.
18 that have defended him. And one of the 18, they're trying to say that she's basically backtracked on her statement. Oh my God. I'm glad that the two young ladies came out and spoke out in public.
Yeah.
I just wish that there was a different way that they could have done that so that they wouldn't be harassed.
Yeah.
Or I should say, I just wish people would just mind their business and not harass people, dude.
Right. Especially, it says, I mean, because I don't think, again, I don't know. I wasn't there, obviously. We weren't there.
No.
I don't think you'll fake the funk like that in front of cameras. Risk putting your face out there.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll fake that.
No.
And risk putting yourself out there because, again, they've harassed one of the ladies who put her face out there.
Mm-hmm.
As I mentioned earlier, I forget her name, young lady's name, but memo to Watson and other professional athletes or dudes out there, just get one. All you need is just one masseuse. Don't put yourself in a bad situation. Just pick one that you could trust. Even if you have to sign, and I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, an NDA, just pick just one that you could trust.
Yeah.
And just go forward with it. You have enough money to get any hole you want if you want to go out like that.
If you really want to be real about it, yeah.
Right, yeah. They got the money to do it. Just don't harass these women that like these legit business women trying to earn a living.
Yeah.
And don't hit people up on Instagram like that. Just be smart, guys. Just be smart. Well, no matter what walk of life you are, just be smart about it. And you'll be okay. So this brings us to—
no means no, dude.
No means no. Yes, thank you. No means no, and period. There's no negotiation around. No means fucking no. All right. Enough of that nonsense. Let's get to what we want to get to, our HBCU Sports segment, which we're going to talk a lot about Coach Prime taking another L, and the implication from that. Congratulations to the Southern University Tigers. I saw that L.
Jaguars.
I'm sorry, I called them the damn Tigers. Jaguars.
Ooh, boy. What?
Man, I called them I called them the Tigers in my intro. So a lot of Southern folks, I know Sakuba covered them personally. Pray for me. I can't believe I fucked that up. I should have known better. Pray for me. But anyway, long story short, you know what? I'm gonna let you go. I'm digging myself a hole. You get into it. Let me get out the hell out the way. Let you redeem this segment. I'm messing up right now. So feed me, bless us all. I'll comment and there it is.
Yeah. First and foremost, congratulations to the SWAC for brokering a 3-year deal with Pepsi Cola.
Nice.
The deal, if memory serves me off the top of my head, of course, they're going to get money for advertising dollars. They become main sponsors for their men's and women's basketball tournament and their football championship game, which is fantastic because, of course, they get those advertising bucks and they get the logo on the court and on the turf during those games, which are going to be televised on ESPN television to some degree, be it ESPNU, ESPN2, or maybe even ESPN if they're blessed. But that was a fantastic situation coming through with the association with Coach Deion Sanders of Jackson State, who himself has a relationship with Pepsi, so that he was capable of brokering that deal with them. So shout outs to them. What else? Like you said, big loss they had this weekend against Southern. There were 3 games this weekend, or 4 games this weekend as it pertains to HBCU football. Delaware State came to DC. I wish I would have known about that game beforehand. I probably would have snuck my way to campus to get a closer look on that game, but I did get a chance to watch it on TV. Delaware State beat Howard. South Carolina State went to Montgomery and beat up on Alabama State.
They did? Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't. Okay. Wow.
That was their second SWAC game of the season. For the South Carolina State Bulldogs out of the MEAC.
Okay.
The one school a lot of people, almost no one is talking about. Arkansas Pine Bluff. The Golden Lions are 3-0.
Oh, they're still undefeated
right now.
Wow.
They are undefeated. I'm trying to remember, was that the stat line I put up for them this weekend that no, that was Delaware State. This is the first time Delaware State has beaten Howard in consecutive games since 2010, 2011. God, this is like the first time Arkansas Pine Bluff has won 3 straight in the SWAC, probably since they won the SWAC championship, which, if memory serves me, was either 2010 or 2011 as well. And then, like you said, Southern beating up on Jackson State in Jackson. One of the things, and I'm guessing Coach Odoms and Coach Hill-Ely have both noticed, and I'm wondering whether or not other teams are taking notice as well. They probably are, especially the defensive coordinators. Dude, if you put pressure on their offensive line, you're going to get to Jacoby Jones, their QB. I'm sorry, it's Jalen Jones. You're going to get to him, and but the thing is, he's a dual threat QB that can make plays outside of the pocket. So yeah, if you're capable of containing him while you're putting the blitz on him, that's the way to beat Jackson State. So we've already seen the playbook twice on how to beat them. I'm wondering whether or not Alabama A&M, another team who's currently undefeated in the SWAC, unfortunately, it's only been 1-0 because they've had 5 straight games canceled due to COVID complications with their opponents. They'll be facing Jackson State this weekend. That game is also going to be on ESPN. Another nod to Dion for that one happening. If not with Dion being at Jackson State, this game doesn't get on the mothership, of course. As much as everyone, of course, is going to talk about Jackson State, the one guy that you need to talk about, and I've been talking about this dude for the past couple of seasons, Akil Glass, who is the QB over at Alabama A&M. He is pro ready. If you watch this dude, especially under Coach Connell Maynard's offense.
And what position does he play right quick?
He plays quarterback.
Quarterback, okay, yeah.
He plays quarterback. And for those, of course, who knows Coach Maynard, he's all MEAC, and also made the 50th anniversary MEAC squad from playing QB at A&T. Also played QB at Winston-Salem State before transferring to A&T. Was the head man over at Winston before going over to Hampton and then eventually to Alabama A&M. And the one thing about his offenses, they progressively get better every year under his tutelage. And it's the same thing going on. This is the 3rd year for Glass under Coach Maynard. It's going to be very interesting to see how this Jackson State defense handles Akil and that passing game of theirs. It's going to be a aerial show for show on ESPN this weekend. Also, Mississippi Valley State and Alabama State, who both had losses this weekend, they face one another in another HBCU game that's going to be on ESPN. It's going to be on the Deuce. Delaware State will face in-state rival Delaware. So that's going to be fun.
That'll be on ESPN too? Was that on ESPN too? Okay. Okay, cool.
So that's going to be fun. But the biggest news, matter of fact, I'll save that for last. The NCAA bowling championships are going on right now as we speak. I was actually watching the matchup between North Carolina A&T and Arkansas State, which is a 2nd round matchup. For those that are unfamiliar, they separate the teams into 4 groupings. There's double elimination within each group. Delaware State and Prairie View A&M were in the losers bracket. They're facing one another right now. So whoever loses between the 2 of them ends up getting eliminated. But that A&T Arkansas State match was a pretty tight one right before I left. So I need to find out what the final score was to that matchup after this show. And then, of course, the HBCU Combine is this weekend as well.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. There are 41 athletes from HBCUs that either left in 2000 or draft eligible from this year that are going to be there participating. Deion Sanders basically came out and said that, he wishes that there would be more HBCU athletes that participate in the NFL Combine, so there wouldn't have to be an HBCU Combine. Right. I'll go ahead and say
I want people to point that out. I'm glad you said that because, a lot of people be like, so time of fans be like, well, they have an HBCU draft. Isn't that, a little bit, dare I say, racist? Isn't that unfair? I'm glad you pointed that out. I'm glad you pointed that out. I'm glad you explained that. But
so yeah, for those who don't understand the whole process of the combine and how they choose the players, basically the coaches and you know the scouts, they vote on who they want to make it to the combine. And for those who don't, I mean, think about it, they vote on who they know or who they see. Mm-hmm. And in most cases, it's going to be the FBS, the guys from the FBS programs. You know, unfortunately, a lot of these guys who end up leading their respective conferences. I mean, yeah, occasionally you see an FCS guy there, and occasionally, even less occasionally, you'll see a Division II guy there. Mm-hmm. But they're going to vote on who they know and who they see. And unfortunately, a lot of guys who end up leading their respective conferences do not end up making it to the combine. Mm-hmm. So these coaches don't get a chance to meet these kids, which means they won't take a risk on drafting these kids, which means they end up either becoming undrafted free agents or not picked up at all. So to kind of thwart that, and let's not get it misunderstood, there are other games and other workout situations in which these kids get a chance to perform in front of NFL scouts. Unfortunately, it's not looked upon the same as anything that is sanctioned by the league. Mm-hmm. Even though there are league scouts there, it's just not looked at the same by these guys. I don't understand why it has to be that way. Mm-hmm. But you know what? If, you know, Prime ain't saying nothing that other coaches haven't said before. Yes, it would be great for these guys to make it to the NFL combine. That means that NFL coaches and NFL scouts need to be a lot more cognizant of these guys when you're making your selection of who comes to your combine.
Thank you.
So hopefully these guys will get an opportunity to shine in front of these scouts and get a chance to play in the next level come this upcoming fall. Now, the biggest thing, which was the hugest head scratcher for me this entire weekend, was a report made by Greg Medea, of the Daily News Record out of Harrisburg, Virginia. Right. He reported that a source that told him, who had spoken to an NCAA rep, told him that the MEAC, who actually was still listed as having an automatic qualifier for the FCS playoffs.
Okay.
Now, you said okay, right? But that's weird to those that have been following what's going on because
we only have 6 teams though, right?
What's that?
We only have 6 teams. Do you have like did they make the threshold, the minimum threshold?
Actually, you know, they went ahead and they did away with that. But the thing is,
okay,
the entire conference has decided not to play football at all.
Right.
Even though Howard, Delaware State, and South Carolina State are playing, mm-hmm. they're technically playing as independents, even though they are MEAC representatives.
Right.
So they did away technically with their season. They did away with their conference title game. All of these guys are playing a limited amount of games, about 4 or 5 games total. In most mm-hmm. cases, they were playing each other twice.
Yeah.
And with the COVID, this is still the head scratcher to me. According to either Howard or the MEAC, I can't remember exactly who's putting the blame on this. They're saying that due to DC's COVID restrictions to visitors, Howard was not able to play South Carolina State because they have that 10 person per $100,000. Mm-hmm. 100,000 person ratio going on for that entire state, which means that according to them, they weren't going to have anyone to play. But the thing is, the rule is, according to the city, all they have to do is be tested 3 days prior to coming and use your own private transportation when you're coming to the city. Something that could have been done, but I'll never understand why that wasn't done. I digress. But yeah, I just thought it was weird that a conference that wasn't in play technically mm-hmm. still had an automatic qualifier out there from the NCAA as of Saturday. But finally, it came out today. It was reported earlier today. Shout out to the homie, Ken Richard and his staff over there at HBCU Sports.com. It was reported earlier today by them that the Mid-Eastern Conference has informed the NCAA Football Championship Subdivision that it will not meet the criteria to maintain its automatic qualifier because the three programs, Howard, Delaware State, and South Carolina State, playing this spring will not play each other as required by the NCAA and FCS, the league said in a statement earlier today. So yeah, with the suspension of the games for South Carolina State, and then the fact that Howard lost twice to Delaware State, and Delaware State has already lost to South Carolina State, it was going to be difficult for them to choose who an automatic qualifier was going to be, even if they were going to keep one, because the tiebreaker would have been hellified. I don't know how they were going to do it.
There's three teams. The Olympics is the same record.
3 teams.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to do the math on that, and I didn't care to do the math on that. But thankfully, the Slewfoot MEAC decided to go ahead and finally make a decision on that and go ahead and eliminate their automatic qualifier. But yeah, that was just a mess. Because I received a text early Saturday asking about the situation, and I didn't have a complete answer. I was just basically going off of speculation. And unfortunately, what's today, Wednesday?
Yeah.
Yeah, questions were floating around Friday and Saturday about their situation, and it took them until Wednesday to make an announcement on whether or not they were going to participate or not.
Well, that's crazy.
Quite.
It's insane. I wonder about the future of the MEAC. I know we talked about before, but this makes me just really wonder, what the hell is the MEAC going to look like in the fall? What's it going to look like in the fall? Because, I mean, if they have a COVID, more people are getting vaccinated. I think most, if not all, 20-year-olds will be eligible to be vaccinated by the time the fall rolls around. And I'm thinking it's going to be curtailed. As long as people still use common sense, wear a mask, wash your damn hands, stay at home if you can. As long as people are doing that and get vaccinated, I think we're coming out of it. I think we're coming out of it now. Thank the Lord. That's what happens when you have an adult in the White House, but hey, I ain't saying a word. But the thing is, all in all, if they're struggling with it even now.
Based upon what we saw in Arlington, Texas, we still got dummies out there in the field. So I digress.
It's okay. That's COVID going, that's COVID taking a victory lap in Texas. But anyway.
Of course, Texas, because let's not forget about Baylor and their celebration after they won the national championship on Monday.
COVID's like, go team. Yeah, and they like this. That praying hands like meme that
like Spice Adams,
yeah, like the Birdman. That's COVID right now. What was I saying? Yeah, but anyway, it makes you wonder how the MEAC's gonna look in the fall, because it looks like the SWAC's doing their things, doing what they're doing right now to make sure things get better in the fall. But it just makes you wonder, is the MEAC going to have this epitaph written sooner rather than later at this point?
But we'll have to see based upon what they do with expansion. I mean, let's not get it misunderstood. The SWAC has dealt with issues themselves this past spring, or this current spring, as it pertains to games being postponed and canceled and stuff like that. And that's, well, I mean, of course, let's be real. The football championship game and the Bayou Classic, which may or may not happen, we're still waiting to hear whether or not that's going to be a go.
Sure.
Are the two reasons why they decided not to have an automatic qualifier, because of course the money. And you know, they dealt with COVID situations, and the thing is, of course, with the expansion that they're dealing with, they shouldn't have any issues in terms of the level of competition and the level of play that they're going to deal with. The SWAC and its mismanagement, and once again, this is another example of how the SWAC just has been mismanaging a lot of things. And this is their 50th anniversary, and this is the reflection of your 50th celebration, right? Just another mismanaged situation. It's a huge potential that's going to carry over into the fall. And like you said, I don't know what that's going to mean for the conference. I really don't. I'm afraid.
Yeah.
You know, there are a lot of people who are out there that see me and they hear me say such such incendiary things about the conference, and they know me as an Aggie, and they know that the A&T is leaving and going to the Big South, and they just look at me and think that I don't care about the South, the MEAC. No, I do.
Right.
The MEAC is all I know.
Yeah.
The MEAC is all I know. As a matter of fact, I live in MEAC country.
Yes,
I'm here in D.C.
DMDC, yeah.
I'm in MEAC country. It's not like I'm in North Carolina where it's going to be a lot easier for me to go to, say, like High Point or to Campbell
yeah,
or to Ranf or whatever. No, I'm here. I'm here. And a lot of times it's a lot easier for me to go to MEAC games. So that's all I know. Yeah. And I want to see this conference thrive and succeed. But when you keep making, bonehead decisions and my God, man, I'm equally as concerned. I am.
I'm just thinking about this now.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have a show where we're going to have to discuss why the MEAC is down the road they are right now. I mean, I have a feeling it's going to be a long conversation.
Yeah.
With the usual suspects. We know who they are, our buddies. We've been on the show before. Maybe we get a couple more cats on here.
Mm-hmm.
It's just sad. And I think a lot of A&T alum, even though we're going to get more money from the Big South, even though we're going to save a lot of money on travel and we're going to have more exposure. And it's sad that we couldn't get that in the MEAC.
The bad thing is that those are all fixable things, right? Those are all fixable things. The thing is, unfortunately, the commissioner doesn't want to change them. Right. He doesn't.
Yeah, it's a damn shame.
It is.
It's a goddamn shame.
I said it before, and I'll continue to say it until they get plastic surgery. They're constantly cutting off their own nose to spite their face.
Yeah, it's baffling.
And I hate it. I do. But, hey, the SWAC is benefiting from this. The thing is, how will these benefits be long-term or no? Mm-hmm. Because, like I said before, the deal with the Pepsi is 3 years.
Yes.
What happens after that third year?
Right.
And can they parlay that deal into something bigger?
Right. And if they can, look the hell out.
If they can't, exactly. If they can, look the hell out.
Mm-hmm.
If they can't, it'll just be a situation of what if.
Right. Right. I think the SWAC knows, they know what's up. They got the brands, they got the TV deal, they got the exposure now of ESPN, they got Pepsi.
They do, but in my eyes, once again, there's small things that they could do to make the situation better. And I'm in the process of writing about that now. The thing is whether or not they're willing to make those adjustments.
Yeah.
So, and one more thing. North Carolina A&T, of course, I'm going to bring it up because, hey, it's our alma mater too. They just can't. They can't lose. They can't lose. I keep using the hashtag TEAL, TEAL. Take everything and leave as we're leaving the MEAC and going to the Big South. The women's volleyball team won the MEAC championship this past weekend. All right. And they participated in the NCAA tournament today, I think it was. I can't remember. I think they played Rice in the first round. I haven't seen the score yet, but yeah, they won the MEAC championship. And like I said before, Jackson State is the SWAC representative in the NCAA tournament as well.
Awesome sauce. Well, that leads us to our random shit segment.
Oh, I got a big one.
I got one too.
The same one.
Did you check out? I mentioned this podcast before. I Am Athlete.
I haven't seen it recently. I've seen screenshots of clips and people commenting on some stuff that
Brandon Marshall. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm a fan of Brandon Marshall. I'm not going to bash Brandon Marshall for his ill opinion on comparing like why NBA had players have power as opposed to the NFL.
Watch that. Yeah.
You need to watch that. It's very compelling, but he says something that I vehemently disagree with
Okay.
And his classmates disagreed with, in that he thought that the NFL could make some moves, but more often than not, he was going off on NBA contracts. He said that only the top 4 of each squad had NBA contracts, which is not true. Everyone in the NBA has guaranteed contracts, which is a big reason why.
Yeah.
Which is a big reason why they have a lot of the power. The NBA players have more power than NFL players have. Non-guarantees. But the funny part, the part I'm tripping out over is he went off. He's railing and yelling, trying to enforce his point. It's like if you don't have a good point, you act like you do.
Yeah, you just get loud. Yeah.
But he's a meme now. My man is a meme. There's this one cat. Check him out on Twitter. His name is Lou Young, L-O-U, Lou Young.
Okay.
He has a reenactment, an uncut reenactment of Brandon Marshall arguing over NBA contracts on the IAMATHLETE podcast. It is hilarious. It's hilarious. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want something to laugh at, check out Lou Young. His Twitter account. He has the uncut clip of Brandon Marshall going off when he's discussing NBA guaranteed contracts, but also you can search Brandon Marshall on Twitter, and you see he's a meme now, and thankfully he's the type of cat who laughs at himself. I'm sure his castmates gonna laugh at him as well. And I didn't see First Things First this morning, but I'm sure Nick Wright's giving him a hard time over that as well. But it's gonna be interesting to see on the next episode of the IAMATHLETE podcast how he addresses it. I'm sure it's gonna be hilarious. But anyway, yeah, that's my contribution to the random shit segment. Brandon Marshall in the losing argument going off on NBA contracts, and the people memeing him, and the reenactment from one Lou Young on Twitter, which is at L-O-U-U Young. That's L-O 3 U's Young on Twitter.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So one, of course, is the absurdly hilarious Paul Pierce.
Oh yes. I mean, if fuck this job was a person, Paul Pierce's name come up.
It is Paul Pierce, my God. For those who didn't get a chance to see what happened with Paul Pierce this weekend.
What was he thinking? What was he thinking?
He was thinking, I don't give a. That's what he was thinking. Exactly. That's what he was thinking. It's like, man, listen, I'm living my best life right now. But the thing is, according to a report that I read, yes, he put it on IG Live, but a lot of people weren't watching IG Live because it was Sunday, right?
Yeah. Who watches IG Live on Sunday?
One of the greatest events ever.
Yeah.
The Isley Brothers versus Earth, Wind, and Fire on Verzuz. Man, listen.
Harvey, please, I love you. Shut the fuck up. We didn't come to see you. We came to see Earth, Wind, and Fire and Ryan Isley go at it.
I like Steve Harvey.
I do too. I like Steve Harvey a lot.
No, I liked his. I like the story.
He did too much talking for me. I would rather hear the music. I came on. I want to see Earth, Wind, and Fire. Hear the old hits. Hear Isley Brothers, Ryan Isley with his player self, looking good with the silver beard at age 80, at 79 years young. I want to see that, and his brother, whose daughter Alex Isley is a damn good artist. If people don't know about Alex Isley, who's Ryan Isley's niece, check her
and
out.
Ernie's daughter, yes.
Ernie Isley's daughter, right. If you hadn't heard of Alex Isley, you're missing out. You're missing out. Put you like this. Yeah.
After you finish watching this show, go up to the search bar, type in Alex Isley.
You'll thank us later.
Good and Plenty.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Yes.
You're all welcome.
Yes.
I'm saying it right now.
Hell, any of our music, you'll thank us. You will thank us. But especially that song.
Man, listen. Man, listen. But yes, everybody was watching the Verzuz. I don't think anyone was watching Paul Pierce, but someone
on the internet
Twitter took it and they shared it on Twitter, and that's when everybody else saw it, including Mickey Mouse and the people that Walt Disney and ESPN, and they subsequently fired them.
They couldn't have that. They couldn't have that.
They couldn't. They can't. They can't deal. The Mouse can't deal with strippers. This out.
Dude is married with daughters.
You know what? Somebody asked that. I noticed that they were like, dude, aren't you married? Hey, apparently his wife either doesn't mind him having strippers.
Or doesn't give a damn.
Or didn't know that he was having strippers.
Well, that too.
And now we know that, right? So either way, right? Either way, it's damned if you do and damned if you don't. But apparently he's handling that situation fine too, because I haven't heard anything in terms of a marital spat between the two based upon what happened. So, I had to bring up that. And then, of course, this week being what it is, for those who aren't familiar, and those of you who are, who like me, still am a huge wrestling fan, a pro wrestling fan, yes. This week is the Showcase of the Immortals. WrestleMania is going to be this weekend. Right. It's going to be another 2-night event. They did the 2 nights for the first time last year. They tried to split up the nights and do it COVID-based or whatever, but they're still going to do it 2 nights again. And they're looking to have fans in the place. They're going to be at Raymond James Stadium this time, and looking to have about maybe 40,000 fans there in the stadium. Don't know how necessarily about that, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, but they also had their Hall of Fame Tuesday night. And I bring that up because one of our entries in our Women's History Month conversation, Ethel Johnson, one of the first African-American female wrestlers of all time, was inducted as a legacy member into the WWE Hall of Fame. So congratulations to her. Also, congratulations to all of the other inductees. You know, NWO made it. Eric Bischoff made it.
NWO, love those guys.
Kane,
gotta love those guys.
Yes, Molly Holly, Rob Van Dam, Jushin Tiger Liger, Great Khali, and then all of the other big British Bulldog, and then all of the other legacy wrestlers that made it in as well. Shout outs to them too. So you know, WrestleMania is coming up this weekend. I don't know about you, but it's going to be another full sports weekend for me with HBCU football and pro wrestling for 2 days. So yeah,
gotta love it. I'm
about to make my way. Oh, that's right. It's going to rain this weekend here. So yeah, I'm gonna be inside most of the time anyway. So yeah,
gonna be inside. Hey man, I guess that's it. That's a great way to end the podcast on professional wrestling. Paul Pierce's strippers. And Brandon Marshall.
Didn't give me no call though. He should have gave me a call.
Single man could do that. Not me. Anyway, before I get myself into trouble, thank y'all for tuning into the Nice Podcast. Please check us out on YouTube. Please hit the subscribe button in the lower left-hand corner of the screen. You'll thank us later. Also, check out Alex Isley's music. You'll thank us later for that too. And YouTube, search for YouTube. Alex Isley, Good and Plenty. If not Good and Plenty, just her name.
Yeah.
You love her music. And last but not least, stay your ass at home. Get vaccinated. A lot of people are coming out of the quarantine now. So make sure you stay vaccinated. If not, wear a fucking mask. Don't be a Karen. Wash your hands. Don't be an idiot. And let's get out of this thing so we can start going back to sporting events again. We start going back to restaurants again. Keep the restaurant business going, right? It's good to see fans back in the stands in moderation. Not Texas, but in moderation. But still, be careful, be smart. Let's come out this thing together. Let's go forward. And also get the merch, cafepress.com. Address will be in the description. Hats, t-shirts, other shit. You can check it out on there. Bumper stickers, the whole nine. You can even get like baby bags or baby bibs. So,
why not, right?
Because we at the Klown Times, we love the kids.
We love the kids.
And please
Ain't no want no more kids. But we
no
don't
more kids. I'm done. I'm in my late 40s. I'm done. I want to retire. Okay. I'm tired of private school. I want to retire, damn it. Okay. And please just spread the word. Spread the good vibes of this podcast. You'll be glad you did. Your friends will be glad you did. We'll be glad you did. Win, win, win all the way around. So until next week, guys, enjoy your weekend. I know it's a rainy weekend for most of the United States. Stay safe. All that good stuff. Peace out.